The abandoned lot sat like a forgotten tooth in the busy smile of Elm Street. For years, it had been nothing more than a dust-covered expanse, littered with empty plastic bottles, broken brick, and stubborn weeds that somehow managed to survive the harsh city climate. It was an eyesore, a daily reminder of neglected space in a neighborhood desperate for a little green. 72-year-old Mrs. Elena Rodriguez, a woman whose spirit was far younger than her age, passed this lot every morning on her way to buy bread. She often paused, not in disgust, but with a faraway look in her eyes. She saw past the grime and the garbage. Where others saw refuse, Elena saw potential. She remembered a time when the neighborhood was filled with small, well-tended gardens. A time when people took pride in their small patches of earth. One rainy Tuesday, Elena arrived home and pulled on a pair of old, muddy gardening gloves. She retrieved a battered shovel and a rusty rake from her shed. Her mission, she decided, would begin the next day. She knew the task was daunting, but she had a strong belief. Every great change starts with a single, small action. The transformation begins. At dawn on Wednesday, Elena stood alone in the lot. The air was cool and damp. She started slowly, methodically, picking up the largest pieces of debris and tossing them into heavy-duty bags she'd brought. It was back-breaking work. By mid-morning, her back ached, and her hands were sore, but a small, clean patch of dark soil had been revealed. A few neighbors walked by, giving her curious, slightly puzzled looks. They were used to seeing the lot empty, not seeing an elderly woman toiling in the muck. Some simply hurried past, perhaps thinking her efforts were futile. On the third day, a young man named Marcus, a student who lived in the apartment building across the street, stopped. Marcus usually kept to himself, headphones permanently attached. He watched Elena for a moment, then hesitantly asked, "Mrs. Rodriguez, what are you trying to grow here?" Elena paused, wiping sweat from her brow. "Life, Marcus," she said, her voice gentle but firm. "I'm trying to grow something beautiful where there was only ugliness. But I could certainly use some help moving this stack of old tires." Marcus hesitated for only a second. He took off his headphones, rolled up his sleeves, and without another word, began hauling the heavy tires away. The blooming community. News of Elena's project spread quickly. The lot, which had once been a symbol of apathy, was now a focus of attention, inspired by Elena's quiet persistence and Marcus's involvement. Other neighbors began to join in. A baker brought coffee and pastries. A retired carpenter built raised wooden beds for the soil. A family with young children started planting sunflowers. The work became a communal effort. People who had lived on the same street for years, barely exchanging nods, were now sharing shovels, comparing fertilizer tips, and laughing together. The weeds were replaced by rows of vibrant lettuce, plump tomatoes, and sweet-smelling herbs. Within 3 months, the deserted lot had become a thriving community garden, a sanctuary of green and color. It wasn't just a garden, it was proof that one person's vision, combined with a little perseverance and neighborly spirit, could entirely change the landscape of a neighborhood. Elena often sat on a newly built bench, watching the activity. The satisfaction she felt was far sweeter than any bread she could buy.